1. Introduction. RAWSEP view. The United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only. For home building and furniture building. For just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM 2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry, and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable. Wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burned tree, but it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burned tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM 2.5, and PM 2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM 2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut-down and burned tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM 2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lungs, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM 2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom, the Eco-Design Wood Stove, and International Convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. RAWSEP view. Purple air. PM 2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM 2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM 2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary.
Hi, my name is Lily. Andrew gave you the intro to residents against wood smoke emission particulates and their concern for air pollution from indoor residential wood burning. Residents against wood smoke emission particulates, or RAWSEP, would like every near neighbor of an indoor residential wood burner whose wood smoke enters their yards and sickens the near neighbors to have a purple air PM 2.5 monitor hanging from the eaves of their home to measure the level of PM 2.5 entering their yards. That measurement of air pollution should be used as evidence of unnecessary air pollution, and each indoor residential wood burner should be shut down based on that evidence, one indoor residential wood burner at a time if necessary. The presentation by Andrew ended at 2 minutes 5 seconds. The same presentation by Emma starts at 2 minutes 3 seconds before the end of this podcast. So I am Lily, your timekeeper, and you can start the next podcast at 2 minutes 5 seconds in if you would not like to see the presentation by Andrew a second time. This presentation by me, Lily, ends at 5 minutes in. What you will see in the main content of this RAWSEP podcast will be news about air pollution from indoor residential wood burning and how that air pollution is being combated by ordinary people just like you who are unfortunately near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners at this time. There will also be news about unnecessary and highly polluting use of wood as fuel in industrial wood burners and preventable air pollution from wood burning wildfires. There will also be news about air pollution from PM 2.5 from gas-powered cars. There will also be news about airborne diseases which are also preventable with vaccines such as COVID-19 and measles and whooping cough, to name just a few. In 2025, residents against wood smoke emission particulates is also concerned with combating the Trump destruction of government funding for programs which protect human health through the Department of Health and Human Services, and Trump destruction of programs which fund the science and medical research plan to protect human health from preventable illnesses. Protecting human health is a patriotic act, and our defense against enemies is weakened if we are not as healthy as we can be. Heat pump rebates are now offered by the federal government, distributed through the eligible United States, are available in 2025 and are the best, cleanest, and now cheapest alternative to indoor residential wood burning if that burning is actually done to purportedly save money. Wind and solar as sources of the electricity that powers heat pumps and electric cars is also cheaper than burning wood. The adverse health effects that are caused by indoor residential wood burning also come at a cost to near neighbors, both in shortening and ending their lives and in actual hospital, clinic, and funeral costs. Instead of being compensated monetarily, near neighbors should instead be able to achieve immediate relief by stopping indoor residential wood burning in their hyper-localized neighborhoods, which relief readings from purple air PM 2.5 monitors used as evidence of air pollution will help them achieve. Welcome to news about hopeful scientific and medical achievements that will also help us achieve the goal of clean air to breathe.
Web 57DHYAFZZFLYU July 21st, 2026 Massachusetts. New way to kill a zombie, wood-burning power plant. In this webisode, 1 World, 2 United States, 2 Can wildfire smoke be like smoking cigarettes? The science explained. 2 Homeowners turn to heat pumps as cost gap narrows. 3 Colorado, 4 Massachusetts. New way to kill a zombie, wood-burning plant. Both the House and Senate have passed sprawling energy bills, including provisions that would prevent electricity generated by wood-burning power plants from counting toward the clean energy standard. The 41 municipal utilities in Massachusetts must meet 5 Michigan 6, Minnesota 7, New York 8, Oregon 9, Pennsylvania 10, Canada 11, United Kingdom. RAWSEP view the first ruling in November 2025. ASA rules against Stove Industry Alliance over misleading claims. RAWSEP view the second ruling on July 8, 2026. Independent review leads to publication of revised ASA ruling. ASA revises ruling on wood burner ad after industry challenges. 12 Europe and the United Kingdom. Why your heat pump is not saving you money and what could change that main content. 0 RAWSEP view. One step forward is the Massachusetts state legislature standing up against wood-burning power plant air pollution by refusing to designate wood-burning as clean energy. This may result in closing of at least one wood-burning power plant in Massachusetts. One step backward is a ruling in July 2026 that the United Kingdom UK National Atmospheric Emissions Inventory (NAI) data represents aggregate national emissions by source category and fuel type and does not provide direct per-appliance comparisons between modern stoves, older stoves, and open fires, so that data of aggregate emissions cannot be viewed as strong as data that would be direct per-appliance comparisons between the eco-design stove and older stoves. The solution would probably be to collect direct per-appliance comparisons. 1 World PM 2.5, a deep learning model for predicting daily PM 2.5 concentration in response to emission reduction. Science. Air pollution remains a leading global health threat, with fine particulate matters PM 2.5 causing millions of premature deaths annually. World PM 2.5 deaths from wildfire smoke have risen globally. The New York Times that can send up huge plumes of the fine particulate matter particles known as PM 2.5 on Thursday and Friday. PM 2.5 concentrations in parts of world wood-burning. Scientists discover what kept ancient campfires burning for generations. Idiot corner. RAWSEP view and ancient people did not discover a cleaner way to heat their homes because they awed themselves with wood burning that harmed their health and today contributes to hastening climate change. From the article. Headline. Science Daily that steady supply of fire would likely help them maintain fires for cooking and other daily activities. Researchers believe it may also explain why world heat pump worldwide status of closed-loop ground source geothermal heat pump systems. International Geothermal Association full coverage. 2A United States heat pump air conditioning saves lives. Scientists think it also might doom us all. Popular Mechanics Gear obsessed editors choose every product we review. We may earn commission if you buy. 2B United States PM 2.5 can wildfire smoke be like smoking cigarettes? The Science explained excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by residents against wood smoke emission particulates. WXII PM 2.5 refers to tiny particles that are 2.5 micrometers in diameter or smaller. Can wildfire smoke be equivalent to smoking cigarettes? The Science explained wildfire smoke contains tiny particles that can be dangerous to your health, and scientists are comparing inhaling wildfire smoke to smoking cigarettes. WXII July 18, 2026. During the summer months, hot and dry weather fuels rapidly spreading wildfires, sending smoke thousands of miles away from the flames. This means that even if you live far from the fire, the smoke can reduce air quality in your area and pose serious health risks. But just how dangerous is this wildfire smoke? What is PM 2.5? PM 2.5 refers to tiny particles that are 2.5 micrometers in diameter or smaller. These particles are small enough to bypass many of the natural filters of your body, meaning they can travel deep into the lungs and even enter the bloodstream. Because PM 2.5 is a pollutant breathing, it can irritate the lungs and increase the risk of health problems, especially in sensitive groups. PM 2.5 is mostly produced from combustion processes like wildfires, vehicle exhaust, and wood burning. At times, PM 2.5 can be produced from a chemical reaction in the atmosphere. How scientists compare wildfire smoke and cigarette smoke. Wildfire smoke and cigarette smoke do not contain the same chemicals, therefore scientists compare the amount of PM 2.5 exposure. Berkeley Earth, a commonly cited source, suggests that breathing an average PM 2.5 concentration of about 22 micrograms per cubic meter over 24 hours is roughly equivalent to the particulate matter exposure from smoking one cigarette. However, this is only an estimate and should be used to measure possible health impacts rather than as an exact conversion. Recent wildfire smoke reached hazardous level. Recently, wildfire smoke events have shown just how quickly air quality can become hazardous. During July 2026, dense wildfire smoke from Canada pushed PM 2.5 concentrations into the hazardous level across parts of the upper Midwest. In Duluth, Minnesota, PM 2.5 concentrations climbed above 450 micrograms per cubic meter, while the air quality index AQI reached hazardous levels. Using the Berkeley Earth commonly cited estimate, that amount of particulate pollution would be roughly equivalent to smoking 20 cigarettes in 24 hours if those conditions stay consistent. Throughout the day, smoke concentration can fluctuate heavily throughout the day, meaning many people will not be exposed to peak PM 2.5 levels for a full 24 hours. Tips to stay protected. The Environmental Protection Agency EPA notes that local officials may advise you to stay indoors, which is good practice, but you should be aware that some of the smoke can enter your home if you are near an ongoing wildfire. The fire itself, along with smoke and ash, can pose immediate threats to your safety and health. If local officials issue an evacuation order, leave the area immediately and follow their instructions. If you must go outside, a properly fitted air pollution mask with filtration equivalent to N95 or KN95 or FFP2 is suggested. These masks are the gold standard for keeping out PM 2.5. To reduce inhalation, bandanas, cloths, and surgical masks do not provide the same level of protection against PM 2.5 during the summer months. Hot and dry weather fuels rapidly spreading wildfires, sending smoke thousands of miles away from the flames. This means that even if you live far from the fire, the smoke can reduce air quality in your area and pose serious health risks. But just how dangerous is this wildfire smoke? At times PM 2.5 can be produced from a chemical reaction in the atmosphere wildfire SC and NC. 2C United States COVID-19 waking up Cyclospora marches on and measles is close to hitting a milestone. Excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by residents against with smoke emission particulates. The Dose newsletter. Caitlin Jetelina, July 21st, 2026. Public health continues to feel like a game of whack-a-mole. We are sure not getting a break here. Is your disease weather report covering where COVID-19 is waking up and how measles is about to make headlines again. There is also a spotlight on the ongoing Cyclospora outbreak, which deserves an award for the most opaque and confusing outbreak ever, leaving consumers in the dark. Here is what is going on, and most importantly, what it means for you. Disease weather report. COVID-19 is quietly waking up. Right on cue, COVID-19 is starting to stir, just as it does every summer around the middle of July. Several data signals are pointing the same way. Nationally, levels of spread and infection are still very low, but they are beginning to climb regionally. The clearest signal is in the West, where emergency department visits, test positivity rates, and wastewater data are all rising along. With anecdotal reports, the South and Midwest are showing early signs of an increase too, though the signal there is less consistent across data sources. A map of where COVID-19 is growing. Source CDC. How big will this wave get? That is the biggest question. Each successive wave has been smaller than the last, which is good news, but that trend is not guaranteed to hold, especially since it has been a while since our last wave, and a lot of immunity of people has had time to fade. What this means for you, if you are over 65 and never got your spring COVID-19 vaccine, the time is now. Measles milestone coming up as of July 19, 2026. The U.S. has reported 2,278 measles cases this year, already nearing the total for all of 2025, with 5 months still to go. At this pace, 2026 is on track to set a new 33-year record. Expect headlines soon. The outbreaks peppered across the U.S. include Pennsylvania has the fastest growing outbreak, 111 cases, which began in April. Utah is in its 12th month of ongoing spread. At this point, measles is endemic in the state. Arizona, a small but new cluster of cases after they just declared the last outbreak over. Wyoming, very small but expanding outbreak. What this means for you, 96% of measles cases continue to be among the unvaccinated. If you are up to date on vaccines, you are very protected. If you have an infant under 12 months and are near an outbreak, ask about getting them vaccinated early. Cyclospora cases continue to increase. The United States now has over 11,000 cyclosporiasis cases across 46 states, which is close to triple the number of cases in a typical year. You can easily see how insane this outbreak is compared to previous years, with a massive spike in diarrhea complaints at doctor visits. Several outbreaks are running at once. Some states are seeing a low simmer from travelers picking it up abroad and bringing it home, like in California. New York seems to have traced its above normal case counts to cilantro, which seems to be over, but it is honestly very unclear. The Midwest is its own beast. Michigan hit 6,148 cases as of yesterday, over 1,000 added just this weekend, 102 hospitalized compared with a typical year of approximately 50 cases total. I was hoping the daily Michigan update would show this outbreak slowing down, but it is not yet. The 2,000 and climbing cases in Ohio is similarly unusual. The recall for iceberg lettuce is far wider, with 27 states named. This is due to a combination of the complexity of food distribution networks and continued uncertainty around where people are most impacted. See more below. When will this end? No one knows. Either the contaminated food works its way out of circulation, or it takes a few weeks. The temperatures get cool and the parasites no longer mature on produce, basically killing themselves off. It is hard to tell from the data alone if this outbreak is coming to a close, given that it is significantly delayed. What this means for you, if you are in the 27 states, avoid all shredded iceberg lettuce. If you are high risk, pregnant, over 65, or immunocompromised, I would remain careful around produce with crevices like raspberry. Cyclospora outbreak is a real mess. If you feel lost trying to follow this story and are confused about what has actually been impacted where and how, you are not alone. This is one of the most opaque, confusing, and unclearly communicated outbreak responses I have ever seen. Most of what we know has come out through press releases or leaks, leaving us to piece things together in red. Between the lines, Taylor Farms is still the likely source of the outbreak. You probably heard that the FDA initial finding linked to a Taylor Farms product was a false positive. Over the weekend, the FDA announced that a lettuce sample from Taylor Farms tested positive for Cyclospora. Within 24 hours, the FDA reversed itself, calling the result a false positive. This is rare, but it can happen. Taylor Farms quickly deleted its own social media posts about its bag lettuce and boasted the FDA had apologized to them, but the FDA still says Taylor Farms is overwhelmingly linked to the outbreak. There are two reasons for this. One, the false positive was on lettuce coming from Mexico that was not part of the recall. If that was a true positive, then we would need a larger recall. Two, not finding the parasite in one lab sample does not mean it is not there to find the culprit. Investigators do not rely on a single lab test. They look at all sorts of data sources. Interviews with hundreds of sick patients pointed clearly to Taco Bell. More than 90% of interviews mentioned Taco Bell, and the FDA traceback using invoices, shipping records, and receipts narrowed the source down to one farm in central Mexico that supplies Taylor Farms to Mexico. Taylor Farms said it provides less than 1% of the iceberg lettuce sold in the U.S., yet it is linked to far more than 1% of the cases. This is very strong data suggesting it is Taylor Farms, and specifically shredded lettuce. A positive lab test would have been the nail in the coffin, but finding this parasite is like finding a needle in a haystack. It is microscopic. Contamination levels are often very low, and scientists usually cannot grow more of it in the lab to confirm what they find. A false positive is a small setback, but not a reversal. We know that this farm does not just supply Taco Bell. Taylor Farms provides up to 160 million servings of produce to stores and restaurants every week. Buried in the recall notice by Taylor Farms was a list of the retailers and outlets it distributed to written and coded language, leaving everyone else to decode it themselves. It is still unclear whether this list is complete or whether Taylor Farms lettuce ends up in other bagged salads that do not carry the Taylor Farms name. Given that uncertainty, the safest move right now is to avoid iceberg lettuce altogether. We also do not know how this outbreak started, yet this information is helpful for accountability and fixing systems in the future, but more immediately, it will help us know if it is just lettuce or cross-contaminated with other produce. Why is this so hard? Watching this unfold has been like watching a train wreck. One, cyclosporiasis illness is a hard-to-investigate parasite symptoms can take up to 2 weeks or more. This work is laborious, and confirming it requires specialized lab testing. Often a source is never identified. 2 federal food safety agencies are stretched thin. Neither the FDA nor the CDC has a permanent director right now, and both agencies have lost staff and lab capacity and undergone major reorganization. Some actively happening when the largest outbreak in history occurred. Their centralized role is critical to help stitch together what is happening in the states. 3. The private company linked to the outbreak is muddying the waters with its PR approach. For example, in the Taylor Farms voluntary recall, they listed customers where this lettuce was sent, but in coded language. Typically, this information would have been shared with lot numbers, source names, and much more clarity on where else this lettuce went. Beyond Taco Bell, there have been questions about Taylor Farms' link to this administration and Trump White House officials, as well. What this means for you if you are in the 27 states. Avoid all shredded iceberg lettuce. If you are high-risk, pregnant, over 65, or immunocompromised, I would remain careful around produce with crevices like raspberries until we are sure there is no cross-contamination happening. 2D United States. PM 2.5. Does long-term PM 2.5 exposure increase coronary heart disease risk? American College of Cardiology. Long-term exposure to particulate matter with an aerodynamic diameter less than or equal to 2.5 micrometer size PM 2.5 was associated with increased risk of coronary heart disease. 2E United States. Heat pump homeowners turn to heat pumps as cost gap narrows. MSN. Rising heat pump adoption, improved efficiency incentives, and reduced price gaps are driving more U.S. households to replace gas furnaces with U.S. homeowners are replacing gas furnaces with heat pumps as the cost gap shrinks. Excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by residents. Against wood smoke emission particulates. The Cool Down Renewable Energy Magazine, July 19, 2026. Americans looking to lower their utility bills are increasingly turning to the same home upgrade, replacing gas furnaces with electric heat pumps. What may once have seemed like a niche clean energy choice is becoming a practical option for more households thanks to improved technology, healthier indoor air, and federal tax credits that can help offset the upfront cost. What is happening? This broader shift is often called building electrification, replacing gas appliances such as furnaces and water heaters with electric versions, especially heat pumps. The shift has been building for decades, but is now accelerating as newer systems become more efficient and incentives improve. Morrison said the cost difference is narrower than many homeowners might expect. Installing a cold climate air source heat pump in the U.S. generally runs about $6,600 to $6,900, and some states and utilities offer incentives or rebates. A traditional central air conditioner usually costs around $5,500 to $5,700 to install. Heat pumps also provide both heating and cooling, which can reduce the need for separate systems. That smaller than expected price gap can make heat pumps more financially appealing, especially when lower monthly energy use is factored in. Why does it matter? For many households, the biggest draw is cost savings because heat pumps move heat with electricity rather than generated by burning fuel. They use energy much more efficiently than gas-based systems that can lead to lower utility bills over time and reduce the exposure of a home to gas price swings. Indoor air quality can improve. 2 gas heating systems can release pollutants such as carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide, while heat pumps avoid combustion and therefore do not produce those gases inside the home. Their climate advantage can grow over time, as well as more wind and solar power are added to the grid. The same heat pump can operate more cleanly without homeowners having to replace the system. Other electrification-friendly upgrades, including solar water heaters, which can trim heating costs by 50% to 80% and help households avoid higher fuel prices. What is being done? Rebates and tax credits from policymakers and local governments are helping speed the transition. Morrison highlighted Los Angeles communities where households that went all electric reported lower monthly bills, better air inside the home, and greater protection against gas shortages or sharp spikes in fuel prices. The technology has improved. 2 newer heat pumps perform better in colder climates, and homeowners now have stronger options across air source units, geothermal systems, and ductless mini splits. Many of these systems also include smart controls that respond to weather changes and weather. People are home comparing options before an HVAC replacement becomes urgent. May show that a heat pump upgrade is more affordable than expected, especially after incentives. Pairing a heat pump with solar panels, LED lighting, or Energy Star appliances can push those savings even further. 2F United States heat pump rebate. How the Department of Energy DOE $8.8 billion rebate programs help HVAC. ASA News. As the U.S. moves toward electrification, heat pumps are HVAC commercial market. United States PM 2.5. How PM 2.5 impacts your blood pressure directly. HCP Live Leon also explained that GP-SOD protective effect likely stems from the systemic photoprotective action of antioxidants, which help skin resist UV. United States with smoke and wood burning. How to protect yourself from poor air quality as wildfires burn in Canada. ABC News. Activities like smoking and vaping using gas, propane, or with burning stoves and furnaces, burning candles or incense, and even vacuuming should be 2G. United States Idiot Corner. RAWSEP View. What point is this article trying to make? That you can continue to burn wood indoors residentially and not connect the PM 2.5 that you needlessly generate to the obvious comparison with wildfire wood burning. But indoor residential wood burning smoke and wildfire wood burning smoke are one and the same in terms of PM 2.5. Treated wood burned indoors may emit even more noxious air pollutants, but the basic problem of wood burning is the particulates. Indoor residential burning unchecked could include furniture, clothing, or anything that can burn in a fireplace or wood stove. From the article headline from Now Fox News. Resembling CBS News would smoke. How wildfire smoke is different from backyard bonfire and the health risks it poses. Excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by residents. Against wood smoke emission particulates. CBS News. Wood fires emit a lot of volatile organic compounds, VOCs. Most of these VOCs are noticeable to our noses as the familiar campfire smell. But 2H United States heat pump rebate. Is the industry ready for heat pump water heaters? Supply house times. For many contractors, heat pump water heaters still feel like a niche product, something tied more closely to rebates, energy programs, or excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by residents. Against wood smoke emission particulates. Al summary. To assess if the industry is ready for heat pump water heaters, consider the the following points: growing demand for energy-efficient solutions is driving interest in heat pump technology. Advances in technology have improved the efficiency and performance of heat pump water heaters. Incentives and rebates from governments are encouraging adoption among consumers and businesses. Training programs for installers are expanding to ensure proper installation and maintenance. Availability of models suitable for various climates is increasing, making them more versatile. Consumer awareness and education about the benefits of heat pump water heaters are on the rise. Colorado heat pump rebate. New rebate program slashes heat pump costs for Denver area residents. Colorado Public Radio, a group of Denver area governments, rolled out a rebate program Wednesday for homeowners and businesses that slashes the price of climate-friendly 2i United States wood burning map. Here is where wildfire smoke is spreading in the U.S. National News. USnews.com. Burning in Canada and Minnesota. Reduce air pollution by limiting activities such as outdoor burning or use of residential wood burning devices. Keep windows closed overnight. United States wood smoke. Reduce your smoke exposure. U.S. EPA. Do not add to indoor air pollution. Do not burn candles or incense or use gas, propane, wood burning stoves, fireplaces, or aerosol sprays. Do not. United States heat pump. The U.S. may be hitting a tipping point for heat pumps. Grist in the first quarter of this year. Heat pump sales beat fossil fuel furnaces by 32%. Here is what makes the appliance so powerful. United States heat pump. U.S. renters locked out of heat pumps may get a cheaper plug-in option with window units. Yahoo Shopping. Because a heat pump transfers heat rather than generates, it can use much less energy than traditional HVAC equipment. It also combines heating. United States PM 2.5. Why air quality can still be bad even if the sky does not look smoky. CNN. Brown carbon falls under a class of pollutants known as particulate matter. 2.5 PM 2.5 named because they span about 2.5 micrometers in diameter. United States wood smoke. Wildfire smoke is affecting millions right now. Here is what experts say to do. CNET. Wood smoke exposure from trees or homes burning is particularly associated with inducing asthma attacks and aggravating heart disease. That makes free Colorado heat pump rebate. DRCOG launches $40 million heat pump rebate program in Denver region. Colorado is the Denver Regional Council of Governments launch Power Ahead Colorado, offering $1,500 rebates and free energy. Advising for heat pump. Colorado heat pump rebate. Great Colorado payback shatters records with historic $158 million returned in fiscal year 2026. Yellow Scene magazine related post. Power Ahead Colorado launches heat pump rebate for the Denver metro region. Colorado heat pump rebate. New heat pump rebate aims to curb emissions in the Colorado Front Range. The Colorado Sun. The $1,500 rebate is available to homeowners and businesses in the 9-county Denver metro region to install a new heat pump. Colorado heat pump and heat pump rebate. New Power Ahead Colorado program offers heat pump savings. Denver Gazette. Discover how the new Power Ahead Colorado program can benefit you with a $1,500 heat pump incentive for energy efficiency. We are excited to see Power Ahead Colorado launch a heat pump rebate that, when combined with Excel energy rebates and others, helps make upgrading to a heat pump. Colorado heat pump. New rebate program slashes heat pump costs for Denver area residents. Colorado Public Radio. Heat pumps run on electricity and can replace furnaces and air conditioners in an all-in-one package. They are much more efficient at heating, and Colorado heat pump rebate. Power Ahead Colorado launches heat pump rebate for the Denver metro region. Yellow Scene magazine. Power Ahead Colorado, a program of the Denver Regional Council of Governments, is now offering a heat pump rebate and free energy. Advising Colorado heat pump rebate. What is working, where to find Colorado homeowners insurance discounts, and grants. The Colorado Sun. New heat pump rebate aims to curb emissions in the Colorado Front Range. The $1,500 rebate is available to homeowners and businesses in the 10. For a Massachusetts wood burning. Massachusetts lawmakers try new way to kill zombie wood power plant. Yahoo! Residents of Springfield, Massachusetts have spent more than a decade fighting a proposal to build a dirty wood burning plant in the Massachusetts wood burning. Massachusetts lawmakers try new way to kill zombie wood power plant. Top excerpt. Both the House and Senate have passed sprawling energy bills, including provisions that would prevent electricity generated by wood burning power plants from counting toward the clean energy standard. The 41 municipal utilities in Massachusetts must meet. Excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates. Canary Media. Residents of Springfield, Massachusetts have spent more than a decade fighting a proposal to build a dirty wood burning plant in the already polluted Massachusetts. Lawmakers try new way to kill zombie wood power plant. Both chambers passed bills to stymie a key revenue source for the proposed polluting plant, but so far its developer has not flinched. July 16, 2026. Son Adam Gomez speaks at the Massachusetts State House in 2023. His state Senate district includes the proposed wood burning power plant. Residents of Springfield, Massachusetts have spent more than a decade fighting a proposal to build a dirty wood burning plant in the already polluted city. Several times they thought they had killed it, only to have it rise from the dead. Now the zombie project could soon perish for real. That is because language and energy bills working their way through the state legislature is set to strike what supporters hope is a fatal blow to the project. This is a really big victory, said the New England legislative director for the Partnership for Policy Integrity, a nonprofit that advocates against burning wood for power generation. We just hope it is enough to stop this plant from being built. The goal is to make the project financially unviable. Both the House and Senate have passed sprawling energy bills, including provisions that would prevent electricity generated by wood burning power plants from counting toward the clean energy standard. The 41 municipal utilities in Massachusetts must meet. This change would make it unlikely for these utilities to buy power from the Springfield plant, eliminating a pool of possible customers. The developer has previously pursued. It cuts off a significant financial incentive for them to want to purchase this dirty energy, said the Vice President for Environmental Justice at the Conservation Law Foundation, which has been involved in one of the legal challenges against the plant. This would have been a big funding source for them. Biomass, which includes wood, was removed from the renewable energy standards for the major utilities that serve most of the state in 2022. The latest bills aim to bring the regulations for municipal plants in line. However, even in the face of what seem like formidable financial and legal obstacles. The developer behind the proposal, Palmer Renewable Energy, has not wavered in its efforts to bring the project to fruition. This persistence leaves some wondering whether the developer has another unrevealed customer base or financial model in mind. We still do not know why they are pushing forward with the plan, and if they have another customer. She said a dirty plan resurrected. Palmer first proposed the project in 2008. The company plugged it as a sustainable way to generate electricity by burning the woody waste left behind from the trimming of vegetation along power lines. The initial estimates by Palmer had the plant burning more than 1.2 million pounds of wood fuel per day. Springfield, a city with a long industrial history, is no stranger to air pollution and its effects. For years, the city was home to a coal-burning power plant and neighbor to an oil and gas-fired plant. In 2018 and 2019, the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America named Springfield the asthma capital of the country. The census tract where the plant would be built is one of the most environmentally burdened communities in Massachusetts, according to a tool built by the state. RAWSEP solar panels stand in grass at a community solar garden. Community solar expands access to clean energy. New study shows burning biomass is one of the dirtiest ways to generate electricity. The process releases 50% more carbon dioxide than coal and 3 to 4 times as much as natural gas. Its supporters argue that wood is a renewable resource and the carbon released during combustion is recaptured by new trees. Young trees, however, must grow for decades before they can sequester equivalent amounts of carbon, while the original emissions persist in the atmosphere, contributing to climate change. Regardless of greenhouse gas emissions, the particulate matter released by the process can cause and exacerbate respiratory and cardiac conditions. Few in the community noticed when the Springfield City Council in September 2008 approved the initial permits, allowing Palmer to grade the lot for stormwater management and pour the foundation. Soon, though, word of the plan got out, kicking off years of debate, litigation, and lobbying. In 2021, the plan appeared to be dead. The Springfield City Council and the state rescinded their approvals for the project, saying Palmer had waited too long to begin construction. Then last year, courts decided the permits should still be valid because the state mandated extensions for such permits during the Great Recession and the COVID-19 pandemic. Rules that applied to the Palmer project, the developer, the court ruled, should have been given more time to start work before the approvals were revoked. What now? Opponents of the proposed plant are optimistic that the provisions closing the municipal clean energy loophole will remain in the energy legislation. The language is identical in both the House and Senate versions, which makes it much more likely to survive when the two chambers get together to hammer out the differences in their bills. And Democratic Governor Maura Healey has been supportive of the fight all along, said State Senator Adam Gomez, a Democrat whose district includes the proposed power plant site. I cannot see her not wanting this to happen because she has been there every step of the way. He said this is a good way to make sure that Massachusetts is ensuring that their people can breathe clean air. However, the possibility remains that Palmer has figured out a financial model that does not depend on clean energy programs and will push ahead anyway if legal and regulatory decisions allow it to do so. Springfield leaders asked the Supreme Judicial Court to review the decision reinstating the city permits, but the court declined, so the Springfield Zoning Board of Appeals was forced to reinstate the approvals. A case challenging the extension of the state approval is scheduled for a hearing in December. There is also the question of whether the developer will need further authorization from Springfield to begin construction of the plant itself. In 2013, the city passed a zoning ordinance that could require a special permit, but it is not yet clear whether the rule would apply to the Palmer project, given the many legal twists and turns the case has already taken. If the project does need to apply for an additional permit, the approval process could be challenging in the face of community opposition that has only solidified in the past 18 years. It would not automatically be denied, but it would not have a smooth path forward. They would really have to show that it is not harming the community in which it is proposed, which is a tough sell. 4B Massachusetts heat pump. Why heat pumps are still so hot in the U.S. MIT Technology Review. Once you pay for and install a heat pump, it is generally significantly cheaper to run than a gas or oil furnace or other types of electric heating. 5. Michigan wood smoke. Is breathing the Michigan wildfire smoke really like smoking a pack a day? Excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by residents against wood smoke emission particulates. MLive.com. So we know breathing and heavy wildfire smoke is bad for us. It is not just a face full of wood smoke like we get while sitting around a campfire, or in Michigan, wood smoke wildfire smoke blankets. West Michigan WODV.com. Wood smoke from out-of-control Canadian wildfires is pouring into West Michigan. Hundreds of wildfires have sparked in Canada. Some of the Michigan wood smoke. When will the smoke clear in Michigan? See the latest forecast. Freep.com. Wood burning for those who have to head outdoors. Monitor for symptoms including wheezing, coughing, chest tightness, dizziness, or burning in Michigan. Wood smoke wildfire smoke creates hazardous air quality. YouTube. The smoke has arrived in West Michigan July 16, 2026. Wood TV 8 Grand Rapids among Michigan PM 2.5. Why wildfire smoke keeps reaching Michigan from Canada. Fires. Detroit. Free Press. The smoke contains fine particulate matter PM 2.5, which can cause significant health problems. The primary pollutant in the wildfire smoke is PM air quality index due to wildfire smoke. 6. Minnesota PM 2.5 air quality index due to wildfire smoke hits hazardous levels. Excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by residents against wood smoke emission particulates. NPR News. Wildfire smoke contains microscopic fine particles known as PM 2.5. These tiny droplets are small enough to wiggle into lungs and enter the wildfire smoke, can significantly impact air quality, leading to an increase in the air quality index. AQI air. Now, the AQI is a measure of the concentration of air pollutants, including fine particulate matter PM 2.5, which is the main pollutant of concern from wildfire smoke. The AQI is color-coded to indicate air quality levels, with higher numbers indicating worse air quality. For example, an AQI of 100 or lower is considered good, while an AQI of 100 to 150 is considered fair, and an AQI of 150 or higher is considered unhealthy. The AQI can be a Useful tool for assessing the health risks associated with wildfire smoke exposure. Minnesota PM 2.5 unprecedented air pollution alert issued all across Minnesota. As hazardous smoke moves Odyssey, we have such mass hesitancy right now that those KN95 masks, they should filter out the PM 2.5 particles, which is one of the more hazardous. 7 New York would smoke my eyes were stinging. New Yorkers navigate smoky air and soaring temperatures. The Guardian pollution levels in the city were elevated as smoke from Canadian wildfires drifted south across a huge swathe of the U.S. The smell of burning wood. 8 Oregon wood burning. How one bundle of firewood could bring this destructive beetle to southern Oregon. Jefferson Public Radio, to reduce the risk of spreading the insect, Stark recommends burning firewood within 10 miles of where it was purchased. Emerald Ash Borers. 9 Pennsylvania wood burning. Philadelphia under code red air quality alert for particulate matter. City of Philadelphia using gas, propane, or wood burning stoves and furnaces, spraying aerosol products, frying or broiling food, burning candles or incense, vacuuming. 10 Canada British Columbia Kootenays wood burning. Campfires to be banned in the Kootenays. Castlegar News. Burn barrels or burn cages or any size or description. Controlled air incinerators, sky lanterns, wood fired hot tubs, wood fired pizza ovens. 11A United Kingdom heat pump. Heat pump households face winter warmth rationing. OL.com. The government has no permission for this. Its energy policy has become an ideology. Opponents warn that remote control of heat pumps could. United Kingdom heat pump households face winter rationing threat. Yahoo! Households with heat pumps face having their central heating turned down remotely over winter in a push to avoid the risk of blackouts. 11B United Kingdom wood burning. ASA revises ruling on wood burner ad after industry challenges. RAWSEP view a ruling in favor of clean air on November 5, 2025, a partial reversal harming clean air on July 5, 2026. From the article headline, excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates. Forestry Journal. The updated decision relates to 2 historical claims about modern wood burning stoves that appeared on the Stove Industry Association SIA United Kingdom RAWSEP view. The first ruling, ASA rules against Stove Industry Alliance over misleading claims. Air quality news November 5, 2025. The Advertising Standards Authority ASA has banned 2 advertising claims by the Stove Industry Association SIA after ruling that the trade body misled consumers about the environmental impact of modern wood burning stoves. The ASA upheld 2 complaints against statements made on the website of the association in May 2025. The site claimed that choosing a modern stove and dry wood fuel can significantly lower emissions and improve efficiency compared to an open fire or older stove, and that when used correctly, a modern wood burning stove is a very low emission way to heat the main living space in your home. Both claims were found to be misleading and unsubstantiated. The SIA, which represents stove manufacturers, suppliers, and retailers across the UK, argued that the statements were based on data comparing modern eco-design compliant stoves to older models and open fires. These newer appliances, the group said, met strict efficiency and emission limits set out in EU and UK legislation and performed best when used with properly dried wood. The association submitted evidence, including government guidance, scientific reports, and research datasets suggesting modern stoves could reduce PM 2.5 compared to open fireplaces. However, the ASA found that the data did not consistently demonstrate lower emissions across all key pollutants, such as carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide, and in some cases showed increases. The ASA assessed the most recent data for GHG emissions and other pollutants from 2023 in relation to burning dry wood in the older stove types. A modern stove and an open fireplace, they found the data showed modern stoves emitted significantly less PM 2.5 than open fireplaces. However, it showed modern stoves emitted more PM 2.5 than the older stove types listed, yet the evidence provided, including studies from Imperial College London and trade reports, did not demonstrate that wood stoves were low emission in real-world indoor environments. The ASA ruled that the basis of these environmental comparisons had not been made clear and that both claims breached the CAP code rules on misleading and environmental advertising. The authority ordered that the adverts must not appear again in their current form and instructed the SIA to ensure future marketing avoids making broad environmental claims without robust evidence. It also told the organization to clarify the basis for any future comparisons between stoves and other heating methods. 11C United Kingdom RAWSEP view. The second ruling on July 8, 2026. Independent review leads to publication of revised ASA ruling. Independent review leads to publication of revised ASA ruling. Excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates. Stove Industry Association SIA website, July 8, 2026. The Advertising Standards Authority ASA has today published a revised ruling relating to 2 historical advertising claims that previously appeared on the Stove Industry Association SIA website. This follows an independent review which identified a substantial flaw in part of the original published assessment, resulting in the case being reopened and reinvestigated. The revised ruling relates to 2 historical claims about modern wood burning stoves that appeared on the SK website in 2025, while the ASA overall decision that the original advertising claims required greater qualification remains unchanged. The published assessment has been substantially revised following the independent review process. The revised assessment includes clarification of the interpretation of technical emissions evidence and the limitations of the National Atmospheric Emissions Inventory (NEI) when comparing the performance of individual appliance types. Reviewer noted that the ASA had accepted its original interpretation of the dataset was incorrect because it had treated aggregate national emissions data as though it represented emissions on a per appliance basis. The reviewer also concluded that the original assessment risked misleading consumers and was potentially unfair to the SIA and recommended that the case be reinvestigated and reconsidered by the ASA Council. What has changed? The revised ruling includes a number of important changes to the published assessment. In particular, it now explains that the UK National Atmospheric Emissions Inventory (NEI) data represents aggregate national emissions by source category and fuel type and does not provide direct per appliance comparisons between modern stoves, older stoves, and open fires. It also provides a revised assessment of the additional technical evidence submitted during the investigation. SJ statement. The revised assessment no longer contains statements from the original ruling suggesting that National Atmospheric Emissions Inventory NEI data demonstrated that a modern eco-design stove emitted more PM2.5 carbon monoxide, methane, and sulfur dioxide emissions than an older stove, and more sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and several other toxins than an open fireplace when burning dry wood. 12 Europe and United Kingdom heat pump. Why your heat pump is not saving you money, and what could change that. Excerpts edited for brevity and clarity by residents against with smoke emission particulates. Euronews.com. Heat pump itself is only part of the equation. The UK Energy Saving Trust EST analyzed more than 1.1 million combinations of heat pumps. Solar Europe. Why your heat pump is not saving you money, and what could change that. The right combination of factors can make heat pumps even more cost-effective. Euronews, July 17, 2026. The right mix of energy upgrades saved houses as much as €1,150 annually. According to a new study, millions of European households are switching to heat pumps in the hope of cutting their energy bills, particularly after the war on Iran sent oil and gas prices skyrocketing. However, new research suggests that the heat pump itself is only part of the equation. The United Kingdom UK Energy Saving Trust EST analyzed more than 1.1 million combinations of heat pumps, solar panels, batteries, and tariffs to understand which delivered the lowest energy cost. The group found that households could cut annual energy bills by around £800 or €920 by combining a heat pump with solar panels, battery storage, and the right electricity tariffs. In fact, the best performing setups save more than £1,000 or €1,150 a year. Why a heat pump alone is not always enough. More than 28 million heat pumps have already been installed across the continent, but simply making the switch does not guarantee lower bills. One of the clearest findings of the report is that electricity tariffs can have a big impact on whether a heat pump saves you money. Researchers found that switching from gas to a heat pump while staying on a standard tariff often delivered little or no savings, but moving to a heat pump specific tariff or a dynamic tariff where electricity prices change throughout the day could cut heating costs by up to £330 or €380 a year. They also found that when green grants and the avoided cost of replacing old gas boilers are taken into account, a heat pump could pay for itself within 2 to 4 years. Related, more deadly heat is on the way. Can waterways of Europe cool us down and replace air conditioning? Can heat pumps cool down your home, and how do they compare to air conditioning units? Beyond household choices alone, better policy is making costs more competitive too. The European Heat Pump Association credits recent growth in heat pump uptake to government measures that have reduced upfront costs and electricity prices. For example, in the Netherlands, where taxes and energy prices have made electricity competitive with gas, you can now cut heating costs by up to 80% by switching from inefficient gas boilers to heat pumps, according to the European Commission. Batteries and solar panels can net bigger savings. The research also examined how solar panels and battery storage can work alongside heat pumps to reduce household energy bills. Further, solar panels allow households to generate some of their own electricity and in turn reduce the amount they need to buy from the grid. That electricity goes even further when you install batteries. Battery storage allows you to charge when electricity is cheaper and use that stored power when prices are higher. The researchers say this prevents solar power, which is produced during the day when energy consumption is typically low, from being wasted. The biggest savings come when you combine solar panels, batteries, and the appropriate tariff homes, with all three typically cut annual energy bills by around £800 or €920, and the best performing setups save more than £1,000 or €1,150 a year. In those scenarios, heating costs fell by almost 80%. Lower upfront costs could help more households switch, while a heat pump, solar panels, and batteries may deliver savings. The Energy Saving Trust says the cost of installing these systems remains a barrier for many. The EST argues that grants, low interest loans, and other financial support could help more households access these energy upgrades by reducing the upfront cost. People need clearer advice, better tools to compare tariffs, and more support to access these technologies so they can make confident, informed decisions on what is right for their home, says the EST Group, head of sector intelligence and external affairs. Webisode 57DHYAFZZFLYU1. January 11, 2026. Congress is racing to undo thousands of cuts to federal science programs. Cartoon 1 of 5. Congress is racing to undo thousands of cuts to federal science programs. Cell 1. The current government bid for an overall cut in scientific funding to $154 billion from $198 billion would be a plunge of 22%. Cell 2. This week, the Senate Appropriations Committee released a bipartisan package of bills. Cell 3 that largely scraps the current government-planned cuts to federal science programs. Cell 4. Congress will set aside roughly $188 billion for federal research. Cartoon 2 of 5. Congress is racing to undo thousands of cuts to federal science programs. Cell 1. $188 billion for federal research will only be a drop of 4%. Cell 2. This rejects the current government push to let our competitors do laps around us. Cell 3. Last year, the current government administration called for a cut in federal basic research of more than 1/3. Cell 4. The current government sought even larger cuts for the National Science Foundation, which sponsors much of the nation's basic research. Cartoon 3 of 5. Congress is racing to undo thousands of cuts to federal science programs. Cell 1. The current government proposed that the National Science Foundation NSF budget be slashed to $3.9 billion. Cell 2. From $8.8 billion, a drop of 56%. Cell 3. The Senate package countered with a reduction to $8.75 billion. Cell 4, or less than 1%. Cartoon 4 of 5 Congress is racing to undo thousands of cuts to federal science programs. Cell 1 The Senate package includes $24.4 billion for NASA, a 1.6% cut. Cell 2 $8.8 billion for the Environmental Protection Agency EPA, a 4% cut. Cell 3 $8.4 billion for the Department of Energy Office of Science, a 1.9% increase. Cell 4 $6.2 billion for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, roughly flat. Cartoon 5 of 5 Congress is racing to undo thousands of cuts to federal science programs. Cell 1 The Senate and the House are now not far apart for negotiations on a final budget. Cell 2 The House's moves on 2026 science budgeting add up to $185 billion, which is close to the Senate figure of $188 billion. Cell 3 But this cannot undo the damage that the current government administration frenzy of budget cutting and administrative chaos. Cell 4 brought to the nation's scientific establishment.
Webisode 57DHYAFZZFLYU1 January 11, 2025 If science funds are restored, then fund alternatives to wood burning. Cartoon 1 of 5 If science funds are restored, then fund alternatives to wood burning. Cell 1 Fund heat pumps that work down to 40 degrees below zero and also act as air conditioners. Cell 2 Fund extending a smart electric grid everywhere, including all rural areas. Cell 3 Fund wind and solar energy sources that produce electricity sent to the smart grid. Cell 4 Fund batteries that store the electricity produced by wind and solar long-term for use in emergencies. Cartoon 2 of 5 If science funds are restored, then cut dirty energy that is now funded. Cell 1 Cut funds for biofuels such as wood stoves and wood burning for home heating. Cell 2 Cut funds for biofuels such as corn-based ethanol for automobile fuel. Cell 3 Cut funds for wood and other biofuels used to replace coal burning in industrial plants. Cell 4 Cut funds for fossil fuels as well as cut funds for biofuels. Cartoon 3 of 5 If science funds are restored, enact regulations that fund removal of indoor residential wood burning appliances. Cell 1 Fund resident-owned Purple Air PM 2.5 monitors. Cell 2 Given free to any near neighbor of an indoor residential wood burner. Cell 3 Whose wood burning PM 2.5 emissions enter the yard of the near neighbor and sicken them. Cell 4 Use the data downloadable from the Purple Air map as evidence to shut down each indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary. Cartoon 4 of 5 If science funds are restored, enact regulations that make electric vehicles and public transport affordable. Cell 1 Reinstate rebates for electric vehicles. Cell 2 Fund high-speed electric transport that will be low cost to all. Cell 3 Enact fuel regulations to discourage production of gas-powered vehicles. Cell 4 Fund research that makes production of electric vehicles efficient and cost-effective. Cartoon 5 of 5 If science funds are restored, enact regulations that make home heating and transport by electric vehicle affordable. Cell 1 Do not allow subsidies for luxury electric vehicles. Cell 2 Do not allow subsidies for home heating for individuals making over a certain salary. Cell 3 Tax the rich to provide clean energy subsidies for the middle income and poor. Cell 4 Keep in mind that the Energy Department and the EPA should work to stop air pollution that harms human health as well as slow climate change.
Webisode 57DHYAFZZFLYU1 January 4, 2026 Would smoke affect the family adversely? Cartoon 1 of 2 Cell 1 When you know you are not protecting your family well enough. When you replace air filters and air purifiers every month instead of every 6 months. Just do not burn wood indoors residentially to begin with. Cell 2 When you are scared whenever someone opens a window. Just do not burn wood indoors residentially to begin with. Cartoon 2 of 2 Cell 1 It gives me no great joy to say this. Smog towers do not work. Cell 2 Carbon capture does not work. Just do not burn wood industrially in place of coal to begin with.
Red Green Fox here. The quick Red Green Fox jumped over the barriers to clean air. Red Green Fox here, ready to sing to you the names of the 2025 major wood-burning biomass industry subsidy opponents. 1. Biofuel Watch. 2 Bulkley Valley Stewardship Coalition of British Columbia, Canada. 3 Comite Schoen Lucht, which means Beautiful Air Committee in German. 4 Dogwood Alliance. 5 Equity Group Foundation, nicknamed EGF. 6 Environmental Paper Network, nicknamed EPN. 7 Natural Resources Defense Council, nicknamed NRDC. 8 Prakaunia Narzexwisseski Isted, which means Workshop for All Beings in Polish. 9 Rachel Carson Council. 10 Solutions for Our Climate, nicknamed SFOC.
Cat's corner strategy with Tiger and Leone. Saying the quiet part out loud. Roar. Hi, I am Tiger. Our human asked us to get up from our naps and start Cat's corner strategy with Tiger and Leone. She gave us a list of internet allies which we will post for her here.
Hi, I am Leone. It is better for your mental fitness to go to these websites than to go to bro sites for advice. Substack letters from an American Heather Cox Richardson. Substack your local epidemiologist. The Midas Touch. The Guardian. The New York Times.
One introduction. RAWSEP view. The United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only for home building and furniture building. For just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM 2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry, and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable, wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burned tree, but it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burned tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen, and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM 2.5, and PM 2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM 2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut-down and burned tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM 2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lung, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM 2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom, the Eco-Design Wood Stove. An international convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. RAWSEP view. Purple air. PM 2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM 2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM 2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary.